Now it's a time to go more deeper into the very aspect. And first of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Dhruv Apte for initiating such a great conversation between all the leaders out here. Well, now let's get into understanding India is just not participating in global transformation. Actually, India is helping it. Well, how? I'll tell Bharat is preparing for its next big step. There are moments in nation journey where growth becomes more than numbers. It becomes more than numbers because it actually is a shift in a mindset. If you see, it's a shift in a mindset, capabilities, at the same time, global influence. Well, in today's India is living exactly the same moment, and we are witnessing Bharat that yet we are ambitious, we are grounded, well, deeply rooted in values, yet boldly future focused. Bharat, where innovation is not just limited to boardroom or big cities, it's reaching now to villages, to rural areas, empowering entrepreneurs, transforming industries, and most importantly, redefining all the possibilities aspect. So let's learn from the esteemed panelist, leading Bharat, next step, vision, resilience, and responsible innovation. Let's talk on this absolutely significant topic today. Joining me are our esteemed speakers on the stage. They are the industry key experts. Let us understand their insight, their strategies, their viewpoint, their side of story of creating a future-focused Bharat 2.0. Well, first and foremost, we are very glad to call upon Mr. Anant Agarrwal, Senior Director, COGENT Infotech on the stage. Can we have a huge round of applause and welcome him, please? Thank you, Mr. Anant, for joining in. Next, I'd like to call upon Mr. Varun Bagla, Managing Director, Saltee Group. Can we have a huge round of applause and welcome him, please? I'll also request you to sit besides the introduction that is there on the screen. I may now call upon Neville Patel, Founder and CEO, Qualitas Global Services. Can we have a huge round of applause and welcome Mr. Patel on the stage? Thank you so for joining in. We are very glad. And in fact, we are more looking forward for listening to such key leaders. Joining us next on the panel is Dr. R.K. Sharma, Telecom Technology Leader. Can we have a huge round of applause and welcome the leader on the stage, please? Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Sharma, for joining us today. We are very glad. Let's look forward for a very powerful conversation between the leaders. Next is Vinita, Rohera, Vice President, Gandhinagar University. Can we have a huge round of applause and welcome her on the stage, please? And like I always believe that the conversation have to be navigated, and who could do better than Mr. Dhruv Apte? Can we have a huge round of applause and welcome Mr. Dhruv Apte back on stage for moderating this phenomenal power-loaded session. Till then, I will like to hear from you that what you have written. If you have left the notepad also there, but something that you will want to bring in the change. Something that you have written powerfully, wanting to manifest for our nation, for yourself. I'm sure things that we cannot forget because we really powerfully want that.
Thank you, but I take each day at a time. 2047 is too far away.
Too far? Well, not a problem. Something that you would like to share.
So what I have manifested and what I have written, and rightly said by many people sitting over here, that the growth will come from tier 2, tier 3 and tier 4 cities. But what I believe is that we don't have, I would say, a mechanism to evaluate, see progress and do control measures with reference to specific cities, GDPs and their growth. So what I would like, what I manifest is bringing a mechanism that can enable the people who are running the show to evaluate themselves, are we on the right track or not? Because if the growth is concentrated towards few cities, then we'll grow at a good rate because our foundations are very strong, but we'll not transform as a nation, what I believe.
Perfect answer. Veena, anything you would like to add on?
So, thank you, but I'm a one-liner person. I would just want, apart from everything what you all said, I would want India to be more Indian by 2047. And it says it all. Thank you.
That's great. Dr. Sharma, I think we look forward for a very powerful answer because I think
Yeah.
being a technology expert, we are
So-
all moving into a new dimension.
So I written the word transformational, and the technology rapidly we are going, so we need to democratize so as it can reach to every person in the country. So as everyone can contribute on that. Like earlier we have not internet, now everyone has internet. Now everyone we need to enable with AI and quantum power, so everyone can write their own growth story, and together they build up and make the India once again. It's already there. We need to make it once again.
More.
2047.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. Thank you for the answer. I'll like to hold the mic. Can we have it placed on the table? Or so I just wanted to ask, we have Mr. Varun, Bagla, Managing Director, Saltee Group on stage. Can we have a huge round of applause and welcome him, please? Thank you so for joining in. And I mean, I would have loved to ask the panel our questions, but let's move on to the panel discussion. And hence, I'll also request Mr. Dhruv Virati to join us on the stage. Well, now, as we all know, India is moving rapidly today, that we have an energy of almost like 140 crore people just not participating in global change, but envisioning Bharat in a very different and a very purposeful perspective. Thank you. Over to you.
Good morning, everyone, and I welcome all the panelists who have joined us to this impactful and thoughtful discussion with the theme Leading Bharat's Next Leap, that is Vision, Resilience, and Responsible Innovation. So, as you know, when people talk about India's future, the conversation is often filled with big numbers, ambitious targets, and bold predictions. But behind every breakthrough, every successful company, every innovation, and every milestone, there is one common factor, that is leadership. And that's what makes today's discussion so relevant. As Bharat moves towards its next chapter of growth, the question is not just how fast we can grow, but how wisely we can grow. How do we build organizations that can withstand change? How do we embrace innovation while staying responsible? And what kind of leadership will help India realize its full potential in the years ahead? To explore these questions, we have an incredible panel with us today, leaders, innovators, educators, and change makers who are shaping the future from every different perspective. So, as Shweta told, we have with us Mr. Neville Patel, who is founder and CEO of Qualitas Global. Then we have Mr. Anant Agarrwal from COGENT Infotech. We have Ms. Vinita Rohera from Gandhinagar University. We have Dr. R.K. Sharma, who is renowned telecom technology leader. And we have Mr. Varun Bagla, Managing Director of Saltee Group. So I would like to open this panel. So the format will be like we'll be having some individual questions, some open questions, and then we will have some time for the questions from our audience and fellow leaders as well. So I would like to open the panel with a common question that is for everyone, which is India today is standing at a defining moment where economic ambition, technological transformation, and global expectations are all converging together. As leaders from diverse industries, what do you believe will define Bharat's next big leap over the coming decade? I would like to start with Mr. Neville.
So, as somebody who has done multiple campuses, I've done about 400 campuses in my life. I feel that there is a lack of quality students. There's not enough quality students in India. I think the top tier colleges and the lower tier colleges have to come closer, work closer, and unless we improve the quality of education in our country, we are not going to beat countries like China, like US. We need to do something about our education. We need to change our format of education. The students are not job ready.
So if you talk about it, it's education that you would like to majorly focus on.
We should leave the social media optics apart and focus on the reality. The ground reality is that we need to have better students, we need to have better education, and we need to have education that prepares students for the on-the-job running. You know, companies don't want to train students for the next 1 year and then absorb them. So we have to do something about that.
So it's like focusing or going back to the basics that should be focused at the core. Great. Mr. Agarrwal.
So when I hear this question out, so one thing came into my mind and everybody was talking about AI, AI, AI. Everybody is talking about AI in this room and in this entire globe, I would say. But what I believe is that AI creates divide between the person who knows it and the person who does not know it. And there will be emerging technologies which will be coming and transforming the entire globe. What I particularly believe is that we should have a, I would say, digital literacy index with reference to PIN codes, so that we can map where we stand, what measures which needs to be taken, because otherwise, if you see the 10 years of India right now, we have done digital accessibility, but digital as a capability of building something new, scaling things, we lack in that front, especially in tier 3 and tier 4 cities. The growth has been concentrated towards few cities. So that was, I was talking previously also, that an index which talks about GDP growth in terms of city-wise, that can be pretty helpful. And also one aspect from the macro level perspective, what I see, we don't see industry as a portfolio for Indian economy. If you see US, their the EPS and everything is rising, their market capitalization is, I think, 5x than India, 6x than India. But if we start seeing industry as a portfolio of Indian economy and then map our actions, then I think we can transform it more better in a more scalable form, I would say.
That's a truly unique concept of our idea that you talked about, the digital literacy index, right? So now moving towards Ms. Vinita.
So good afternoon. So my point is, you know, I said that in my first answer when she was asking about what do I want in 2047, when he asked about Bharat taking a leap, I would again elaborate my line. So it has to be symbiosis of AI and humanity, symbiosis of technology and humanity. It does include the points what he said about digital literacy, but it also deep roots us to Indian values and cultures. So India is the only country which with growth will also remain and maintain its sustainability apart from any other country. That does answer in elaboration to Sir's point of quality education. Well, we are the only country which we start with quality education in schools, but the difference why he pointed out that was the moment we go to higher education, our GER is very, very, very horrible. We are only 18% of GER in the whole country with general category. If we add on to the other categories, we reach out to only 27%, sir. So that means, I mean, if you all know about GER, if you don't, that means the number of students going to higher education. So hence, along with quality, we also have to maintain the number of students going towards higher education. With quality, of course. When we go for digital literacy, like Sir said, honestly speaking, I would end this answer with one line that with digitalization, we are forgetting that we are not growing for ourselves, we are growing for recognition. So that's where we need to stop, and that's how the Bharat will take a big, big, big leap. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Dr. Sharma, I guess 3 answers are touching the very core of education. So what's your take on this?
So from being in technical background and all this, so I think we are living in a very we are living in a very exciting era of AI and a good inflection point of quantum tech, where technology is rapidly changing in every day's game. So first thing is that it should reach to everyone, so we need to democratize this technology to reach everyone. And second important thing is the trust. That digital trust we need to build up in India with the scale and technology. So as it should not be used in some other way around, like if you are using AI tools for benefits of humans, and it's going to change. Like now cyber security is one of the most challenging facing time, where earlier the hackers has very constant things. Now they have also AI. So it's like two-edged sword. Everyone has it for good and bad. So we need to make it the guardrails of that and make sure it is used for country growth and other things. So in that way, we need to focus on more on that, building the digital trust, reaching the technology, and more to make human-centric on that. And with empathy, it can help the civilization rather than killing the jobs or something like that. So in that way, India can proceed further on that.
Great. So, Mr. Varun, what's your views on this question?
A very good afternoon to everybody present over here. Firstly, Jai Hind. I think this question is quite elaborate, and to answer it in depth will take quite a bit of time, but I'll just kind of summarize it. In the next 5 years, I think India is going to be able to implement what previously were just words, because the present central government has been in power for almost 2 decades now, and I think the consistency in power and the vision that the current dispensation have, I think we will start seeing the result of its implementation. Having said that, coming from real estate and hospitality background, I feel that India needs to really look inwards, because it is quite attractive to see what's happening in China, what's happening in United States and in different parts of the world, developed world. But we shouldn't aspire to be a second China or a second United States. We definitely need to take inspiration. We definitely need to adapt what they're doing right. But we need to have our own communication, we need to have our own culture, and it has to be our language. What it was almost 1,000 years back. We were the leading nation globally. So I think we definitely have the potential. In education sector, as my fellow colleagues have mentioned, I think a lot of our population not just being deprived of quality education, I think the curriculum, in the manner of curriculum that was designed for a large period of time, was also not beneficial to a large chunk of population. Because if after graduating, if after doing everything, you are not getting a quality job, there aren't enough opportunities available, or you cannot match the competition that's there from your peers, I think the problem is not in them, but in the very institutions who are set up to kind of make the generation ready for corporate life. So I think it's time for us to acknowledge, identify, adapt responsibly, because obviously we cannot be behind in AI and other technology aspects, but we have to be rooted in our culture, and we have to think of going 10 steps advanced to what the other counterparts are thinking. So from that perspective, it's all about looking inwards. I would just like to add that public infrastructure is also something that the government really, because it's not just about construction of roads, connecting of railways, highways and everything. We have to see our pedestrian walkways. We have to see how majority of our developed cities have electricity lines above ground. It's not underground, and it's not just about aesthetics. It's dangerous, and few people also die during when there is thunderstorms and so on and so forth. So I feel that the development has to be cohesive, so that each chunk of population coming from different backgrounds are evolving, and it's not just some selected people coming from selected backgrounds.
Thank you. So what I gather from the first question is basically self-reflection, going back to the basics and focusing on our current core strengths. That's what the people of Bharat and every leader should do. in the coming years. So now I'll shift to the individual questions that focuses on everyone's core. So Neville, from your leadership journey at Qualitas Global, what do you believe are the key qualities organizations need to remain resilient and future ready?
I think we should, focus on our core strength, individual core strength, as well as team core strength. And understand, ensure that the SOPs are in place, ensure that the business is, well run, culturally fit employees are employed with the same mindset. I think that's very important because businesses are run by employees. The CEO can only do maybe 20% of the job, but 80% of the job is, keeping the customers happy is not the CEO's job, it's the employee's job. And if you have the right employees, I feel you can change your business from 0 to 100.
Great. So employee-driven or employee-centric and employee culture-driven.
So we train AI. We train AI models since 2014, but I've been training AI models in sports in 2007. So I understand this, and I would say almost 90% of my managers are day one employees, from the start level to the head of operations to the manager. Everybody is a day one employee. So they have been with me since 2014-15, since the time we started the company. So
yes, employees are core strength of any organization. That's right. Moving on to Anant. Organizations today are navigating rapid technological disruption. So from your experience at COGENT Infotech, what qualities do leaders need to build resilient organization in this era of constant transformation? So now it's about the leaders who are driving the organizations.
Okay. I just would like to add one point to the previous question, that India will only grow if we leverage our dividend, I would say, the population dividend, by enhancing the quality. Scale cannot take us forward, it's the quality who can give us the multiplier effect of our dividend, population dividend. Now coming on to this question, so first of all, I like to start from here that resilient does not mean your reacting quotient. So people always believe that if you react quickly, you are resilient. What I particularly believe, if you react thoughtfully, then it has become resilient. Otherwise, you are moving in directions where you will not land up in achieving your goal. What I particularly believe, there are 5 qualities which a leader should possess. The 4 to 5 qualities. The first is the continuous learning. So I'm sitting over there, I'm coming over here, something has changed in some part of the world that I don't know. But I need to be very conscious about this entire concept of continuous learning, that I need to learn, boss. I don't know anything, I need to keep evolving. The second is, and which is very important, I would say, how you create the culture of curiosity in your organization. So I always used to tell my marketing team that I cannot, I should not expect creativity by putting a gun at your head. The boss, I need creativity today. You need to empower, you need to make that culture. And what we did, we have run an initiative known as Resilient X, where we incentivize failures, collective failures. So if you have done some experiments, you have failed, let's come as a team in a month. The best failure will be rewarded. So it creates that culture of curiosity. The third aspect, I would say, is the clarity. Again, everything is changing. Where you want to go. And in all of these situations, what I particularly, the most important is how you communicating with your team members. Because if you have clarity and if you cannot communicate, you are out of the game on the first day. So these are the 4 qualities which I think, should be very centralized to the leadership aspect, and leaders should be trained upon.
Great. That's like failure index and failure appreciation is that would be something every organization should employ, because that would boost every employee or every stakeholder of the company to try harder, and maybe after few failures there will be a ray of success to every team, right?
Absolutely, but there is one critical aspect. We always interchangeably use these two words, efficiency and effectiveness. And these are very contradictory in nature. If you go towards efficiency, you will optimize everything and you will standardize everything. But to become effective, it needs to be, if you need to, I would say, if you need to increase shareholder value, you need to be balanced between efficiency and effectiveness. And effectiveness, I would say, is driven by innovations and the culture of curiosity.
Right. So moving on to the next question. Educational institutions are actually the core of every civilization, I would say. So from your perspective, how universities can play like stronger role than they are doing it today for a rapidly evolving and innovation-driven Bharat?
Okay. So of course, that's the most important, I guess, like you said in the first question itself, that we are the most important ones. So universities, for becoming innovation, they are the hub of innovation. So universities have students in higher education, basically from the age 17 to 21, where you put your thoughts and creativity as a project and into the real world. Now, that is one thing what I would say. The other thing is, when universities, if they want to play an important role, like Sir clearly mentioned, that if the curriculum is designed in such a way, it's called inclusive curriculum. So basically, the curriculum in India now allows you, as per NEP, to change it to 50-50. That means you can give as many minors you want and make it skill ready, to make them skill ready. Basically, if you want them to be future ready, if you're doing a BTech, it does not restrict you to put as many minors in each semester and make them proficient enough. So there's one thing, that means changing the curriculum. Universities are given huge freedom to collaborate with industries. So that is called industry academia interaction, right from day one to day end. And the best part about that is that these days, private universities, they don't have a restriction towards the industrial collaboration. You can partner with them as knowledge partners. We just recently spoke about my Gandhinagar University. So I think yesterday I finished a launch of Gujarat's first, probably I could not mention that, could be country's first, postgraduate programs in real estate with artificial intelligence. Now that is not gonna be taught at my university. We have partnered with Naritco and Rohera for that. Now we have a huge pool of students coming in, but we have restricted it with an intake. I'll just give you an example for that. Now these days, so that's how, if you collaborate with industries, they come for hands-on workshops, they give you training, they are the part of the board of studies. Basically, they can come for lectures. They can also, if you would want, the industrial experts can come in. I'm sure I would like to invite you, Mr. Patel, because I was very happy when you said about quality education. Now, they can actually modify the curriculum according to them. Now, that's the power of the state, private, or private universities in the country. So.
That's a great initiative, actually. So moving on to next question, Dr. Sharma, I would first like to inform us about current state of quantum computing in our country, as well as how do you see India positioning itself as a leader in artificial intelligence as well as the quantum computing technology.
So, though I done my doctorate in quantum and 6G, but I have not a spokesperson, but India is leading the quantum in such a way, everyone is seeing in the news, like we have quantum mission, national quantum mission, which is contributing a lot in all dimensions of that. So first I will start, like technology can bring the transformation, but what leadership can bring the trust? Technology like can be used for anything. Nowadays, there is very special coin, harvest now, decrypt later. So what is happening currently, our data, whatever transaction, digital or data, whatever we are doing, these all are in digital format and these are encrypted by RSA algorithm, which has been used for decades. And now quantum is posing a challenge to break this RSA using Peter-Shor algorithm. And now quantum computers, every day you will saw a new chip is coming up with the capacity which can block this one. So what is the best practices? We have adoption like PQC, post-quantum cryptography. So you can prepare right away, the leadership should prepare right away in every field of the technology, either it's digital transaction, telecom, or medical or anything, because the data is the oil, and anyone who harvests the data and decode it, it can use it for good reasons or bad reasons also, right? Like attackers, exporters. So this is what we are living in a challenging time, and where we need to adopt the current AI, along with we need to be prepared with the upcoming quantum tech. Like everyone is like Q day. So when the Q day will come, it will detect everything, whatever is happening, the algorithms and everything. So we need to prepare on that. We need to adopt PQC things right away on every aspects, and try to make more ethical use cases, and we should guardrails all the things, practices. So this is the way we can move that one. And of course, India is also leading in the quantum tech. We have different governments, funds, and everything is provided to the country, entrepreneurs, every part of the society, like quantum communication, quantum cryptography, and quantum metallurgy, and all the aspects, drug discovery. These are all the aspects, and our country is opening up with the startups, something that. So we should start adopting this new tech and start building something which can help the India to grow rather than this one.
That's a great answer. So, Varun, you spoke largely about public infrastructure, which is essential for economic development, right? So, what opportunities do you see in this sector for driving sustainable growth, urban transformation, and that will lead to the national progress?
Well, to be very honest, I believe that real estate at large is becoming a capital game, which I find it to be slightly, dangerous, because once it becomes a game of capital, limited players who have access to huge resources, the industry is restricted to it, then innovation kind of takes a back seat, and they start driving the entire market and influencing the lives of large population, and people don't have a choice because it's limited into their hands. So I believe that if public infrastructure is improved, especially in outskirts, in rural areas, I believe there in the new India there will be a a euphoria of new players coming into real estate, because being an industry player, I wouldn't like it to be restricted to certain players, restricted to certain names, because we are 5 of us sitting over here, and I'm sure each one of us can bring something new onto the table, something that I may have missed out. So I think that kind of opportunity and access needs to remain open, and public infrastructure will play a big role, because people who own land in different outskirts and in rural areas will get that opportunity if those areas develop to enter into the real estate industry. Moreover, I also feel that for the players who are already in this industry, even if we do projects which are big in scale, even if our projects are absolutely luxurious and our workmanship finishing is top notch, if our clients are not having that experience while coming into the project, and the condition of roads, the overall vibe of the locality does not match with the the characteristic of that particular project, I think that kind of mismatch is bothersome. I'm not saying that luxury segment, luxury projects should have public infrastructure which is wow, and other projects shouldn't. I'm not trying to say that. What I'm saying is public infrastructure needs to be looked into holistically, because I think it influences lives of everyone, irrespective of which industry, irrespective of their class background. It influences lives of everyone, and we cannot just blindly start scaling, because we also have to look into how we are scaling it, whether we are heading into the right direction. And I think the power that different municipal corporations hold in different states and cities, I think that power needs to be transferred to different architectural and landscape consultants, because they are knowledgeable. They have idea how cities need to be planned, how it needs to be executed, rather than those government bureaucrats who are just following directions coming from up above. So I think vision can only come into play when people who have power also have the knowledge to kind of execute what needs to be done in a manner in which it is sustainable. So if we want to grow in the AI sector in comparison to China or a US or a Taiwan, a lot of data centers are going to be required. And we know how data centers deplete natural resources. So I think we have that kind of brilliant mind to kind of address these issues which other parts of the world haven't been able to. And I think ISRO is a very good example of how we are achieving different milestones in space, at fraction of a cost to what developed countries are spending. So we definitely have those kind of minds, and the educational institutions and the programs, it's great that the curriculum has opened up in a manner in which I can opt for which subjects I am interested in and my strength lies, rather than being forced to follow a set curriculum for all the students. So I think these changes will play a very big role.
Great. That's a really great answer. Now, I would like to expand this answer into a question for you, Neville. So, it's important to manage the innovation as well as expansion of the company, because as we say, we are on the rapid track of growth as a country, as an industry as well. So, what are the responsibilities of a leadership that they should have to balance the innovation and expansion for building a long-term value for any industry or any company?
So, this answer is not a one-size-fits-all, because depending on the industry, the answer changes a lot. But I can only talk about my industry, which is AI. For me, like I mentioned previously, education is the most important thing. I'll tell you the reason. Because currently we are training more than 30 different industries. So we are training AI in more than 30 different industries, from security and surveillance to automotive, autonomous vehicle, ADAS, ChatGPT, LLMs. Okay. Now, customers come to us and say, we need 100 people who can train ChatGPT in chemistry. Do you have them? I say no. Okay. We need experts in physics. We need experts in maths. And there are a lot of things where I have to say we don't have immediate resources. I'll have to source them from all over the country, but I can't get them in my city. So for me, education or lack of education is a bottleneck in terms of growth. Okay. If there are easier things like autonomous industry where I can train people, and but I can't train people in chemistry. I need people who are experts in chemistry. Now, can I get 100 people in Pune in chemistry? No. Who are experts, who are capable of training ChatGPT? The answer is no. So for me, everything stops at the leg of education, the ground level education. Now, of course, currently we are working on a project with German scientists. We are training cancer cells. So in future, AI will detect cancer cells, and reports will be faster. Now we need 50 people who are capable of detecting such. So we have been able to get maybe half of them. But then now we are sourcing them from Bangalore. We are sourcing them from all over the country. So the lack of the right talent in my industry is limiting me from growth, then which I think is also limiting the country from growth, because then if we can't do it in India, it'll go to China, it'll go to Philippines, it'll go to Taiwan, it'll go somewhere else.
Exactly. So after the expansion and innovation balance, there comes a long-term impact that every organization should sustain. So, for Anant, my question is for you: how can businesses ensure that innovation remains responsible, inclusive, and aligned with long-term sustainability rather than short-term impact?
Okay. I'll start this answer. Maybe the people who are listening might find me very theoretical in nature, but I truly believe that the mindset from shareholder capitalism to stakeholder value maximization needs to be in place when I talk about value creation and inclusive innovation. Now, why I'm saying this and why this impacts? Majority of the CEOs, if you see, they are worried about quarterly results. And to boost quarterly result, there is one very simple formula: you increase your ROIC. To do that, you don't invest in capital. You don't invest in capability building. You invest less in capex. And I might sound that I am very inspired from the few organizations in US and Korea, but I truly believe our dividend payout ratios in India, especially in IT industry, does not make sense to me. In an era where AI is booming and everybody is investing into AI, TCS dividend payout ratio is 95%. Infosys similar lines, Cognizant similar lines. And if you look at NVIDIA, whose market capitalization exceeds from the entire market capitalization from India, has dividend payout ratio of less than 1. So what I particularly believe, if you move toward this stakeholder value maximization, you start seeing things more inclusive in nature. You start asking difficult questions. What I'm doing, is it valuable, or I'm just transferring the ownership? And why this is becoming more important nowadays, what I believe is there's circular capitalism going on in this entire globe, where few organizations are revolving capital, revenue, and valuation in a very close ecosystem. Is it valuable? I am not sure. Is it not valuable? I am not sure. But to make sure that we inspire to become inclusive, we inspire to become long-term thinkers, I think we need to change our mindset. And especially when everybody is talking about education, I just want to highlight one thing. In many of the institutes where I have gone, they are saying that, we are the biggest Central India's largest university, and after doing an MBA from here, you will be working as a manager and you don't want to learn now. And this is the biggest mistake which institutions do to market themselves. I'm so sorry for being harsh to institutions, but that's a true reality which I have seen in so far till now. And so we have recently hired 30, 40 interns, and I was asking, what's your vision? What's your goal? I'll get a job, and after that, why I need to study? My job is done, I'll get. So then I said to them, your probability of becoming a CEO is less than the probability of climbing a Mount Everest. So if you need to grow, you need to learn. So there's the harsh reality. And also in India, so in 1960s, in 1970s when MBAs get started, what I believe, we were a poor country, and our parents were taught that you need to stand for family. And for doing that, your education stops at 24. And you start working at 25. But what I believe, if you're doing an MBA, it will start making sense to you after 33. Then you appreciate the concepts of culture and value maximization. So that mindset needs to also shift. So yeah, that's from my end.
So on a lighter note, if universities are marketing themselves, as you said, maybe it's their storytelling problem. I would take this opportunity to market myself as well. Okay, so Vinita, being an educator, there might be a list of points that you face every day. Ki boss, I need to change. The system needs to change these all things to go on next step. So what are these changes that you think we must make to go a step ahead or to go a mile ahead?
The education system?
Yeah, education system.
Okay. First of all, I am Ms. Vinita Rohera, founder and trustee of Asia's first AI-enabled campus, Gandhinagar University. By the way, I'm very glad that you said, and that's my storytelling. The system, if you say, probably the education system, honestly speaking, these students here, I would continue my answer by the first question when it was the gap between innovation and expansion. How many of you know the cost of putting a windmill? I would not ask manufacturing and then anybody who knows the cost of putting a windmill? I mean, if you know, good, otherwise, no, okay, no problem. So windmill, we always thought being an innovation for renewable energy. So we all talk about innovations. But honestly speaking, the innovations are not practically possible or strategically possible to be implemented to get the actions due. Now that is why you don't have windmills around. Because the cost of one windmill, putting one windmill and comparing that to the energy it saves is way too much. So whether you get it from China, Russia or whatsoever, you cannot make it practically possible. So now this can be imparted only to the 17-year-olds who are coming to the universities, and that's how we make the changes in the system. We make them innovators, but with logic. Now they need to have that in their curriculum. So we try and see that the whole base curriculum is changed or is imparted in such a way that they first learn the foundation, the basics of education. The second thing in the system I would like to change is the faculties. You cannot do anything with the students. The students are not completely wrong, or they are not completely, we cannot blame them completely. It's also about the faculties who don't want to change. I would repeat my word when Sir was saying about people don't want to learn. But if you remember the quote from Alvin who said that those are not the illiterates who don't read and write. They are the biggest illiterates who don't want to learn, unlearn and relearn. That's the most important thing. Trends are changing. Today we have AI, tomorrow you'll have something else. Yesterday we had blockchain, but we were not accepting it. So the point is, if you see the professors and the faculties, I don't know if there's some in the audience, but I'm not being harsh, but that's the fact, because that's what I faced when I actually transformed my traditional institute to today's Asia's first AI-enabled campus. So the professors were not ready to transform. First, they need to get into the system in such a way that they are ready to change. They are ready to impart right and true and the trending education to the students. The education system does also involve parents. I find them 80% being the culprit towards not having the right growth towards my generation. You call them Gen Z, but I call them mine. But my point is, we are not the traditional and the conventional parents like millennials had. We ourselves are not clear. We ourselves do follow. We are not actually letting them lead. We are not letting them fail. I was very happy when Sir said that he has put incentives on failure. We also run a system which is called failure fees, wherein the failed projects are actually rewarded. He's right that this is how you put curiosity. And what changes I brought in my students, there was a student who was bullied a lot when I entered the system. They said he's useless, he's like this, he is a bureaucrat in a gown, XYZ. I found one potential in him. He was BTech IT, but he was interested in events. So what I did is, so universities have a huge budget for event management and events, basically. So I said, how about you make a trial? But ma'am, nobody trusts me. Everybody thinks that, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that. I said, it's fine. I would trust on you. The most important thing is the program what we run called Failure Fees is actually funding those projects. So I hired few sponsors for him that who started funding. 3 years down the line, he's one of the topmost event management company in our state, and my university gives the contract of 24 events in a year to only him. But that's the power of actually, if you cherish, if you have those intelligent celebration towards the failures. That's what I was mentioning. Now this is what I want to bring the change in the system. There are lots more. I don't know how much time I have. Can I have 2 more hours?
Yeah.
There's a lot more changes to be, when I'll keep it for other questions.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, yeah.
So I just would like to add a point here. When I completed my engineering, maybe 10 years back, we all had this fear that if the project doesn't run,
Yes.
we won't be getting any credit for
Correct.
that.
Very
So
true.
I am really amazed to see leaders like you who are
Yes.
celebrating failure,
Yes.
or maybe pushing students, employees to think, innovate in their own ways. So I guess I would like all to have a big round of applause
Thank you,
to
thank you.
such leaders, educators
Thank you.
who are like.
In fact, I would just like to add on, that's called Deep Tech Innovation Hub, what I ran, honestly speaking. So that is not failure, that's actually a step towards confidence. They're just, the system, the whole system of our country, we feel engineer banna hai, pharmacy banna hai, MBA karna hai, that's not what it is. See, the first thing when I came to India and I actually entered Maharashtra, then I came to Gujarat, I'll be very honest, the first thing what I did is change the entire syllabus. Now this is global syllabus, because I had students coming in, she's 96, in percentile, the parents want her to be pharmacist, but what does she want? She wanted to be a dancer. So what I have in global syllabus is, you can be a B Pharma, but you can choose as minor credits to be dance. Now what I do is, I sponsor. So I have got, on board for dance, the registered dance academies that adds credits to their score as well. Now that is completely on our course. There are 16 hours in a semester where you can actually avail your minors. So this way, now she's a successful pharmacist, but she has just won a national competition in dance, and she always gives us the credits. Now that's not a failure, but thank you so much, sir. But that's something where you need a hand holding. Now that's not what every institute or university or families are doing. I would urge upon the entire system as a whole to come and support this generation, because that's the only future we have. That's our future. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
So moving to Dr. Sharma, when we talk about AI or maybe AI modules, ChatGPT or maybe Cloud A nowadays, there is a factor of like fear. I won't say fear, but there is ambiguity and a factor of trust in every market. So it's not about losing jobs or something like that, but there is something like this in every industry and every market. So what roles do leaders should play to make these technologies more trustworthy, resilient, and then again they fit into the ethical frameworks as well?
So, like technology can provide the transformation, but leadership is what it can bring the trust in that. If any new tech is coming and that is going to be ethical with the guardrails and use human-centric, which can benefit the civilization, so that's people will start trusting. So this is what the need of the. We are living in the era of agents and tokens. Like for everything now, you have agents. If you want to book a flight, it can book immediately on a single your voice note, right? But agents do not have the authority to cancel your if you don't not willing to that. So that kind of trust you need to bring in the technology, and the tokens like every like models are now taking your inputs as a token and giving you outputs as a token. And that is what adding the budget also. Recently we heard some organization that cancel all the tech token, like that was a Microsoft. He has cancelled all the tokens for that because it has killing the budgets. It's making more, humans are more cheaper than these tokens. So that's why how it's coming, and it's like it's a dynamic phase where people start fearing that AI is going to take the job, but it's not the case. AI is making human more faster, efficient, and all this. So if you're adopting this to grow yourself, it's a best path. Earlier, one person in a company, if you see, there's a leader, there's a finance, and there's a separate wings, right? But now you have access of all this, what do you call it, tech in your hand. You can make a model, you can make a presentation, you can calculate the finance as well, you can marketize as well. Earlier this was not possible, it requires a big team, right? So now everyone has become a company. If we use the technology in the right way, in the good guardrails and all this, so it can be there. So this transformation leadership should bring this, democratize, reach to everyone, and make it use of that in a, not in a good financial way, it's in a cheaper way, and make it, like in India is very good in, like mentioned, ISRO is making technology at a much lower rate than across the globe. Similar way, India has a good potential on that, and we can work on that and try to make it cheaper and make it more accessible and make it more human-centric, along with the ethics and all this, with the good guardrails. This technology, whatever the agents are now, enterprise agents, whatever is coming up, they should not be autonomous. They should not take the decision. There should be always a human in the loop at the server stances, and there it cannot harm the things, what the purpose is AI is going to bring. So that's why leadership can take control of that, take a part of that and make it more trustable and everything in that. Yeah.
Truly said. So my last question to Varun is, you work in an industry that gets easily affected by economic cycles and changing market dynamics. So according to you, what is the importance of long-term vision and resilience that every organization should have?
Well, I think it's very important to have a long-term approach, because in real estate industry we cannot run after quick money. It takes long. It's highly dependent upon a lot of approvals. It's highly contingent upon market acceptance. Plus, there are different factors, as you have said, economic factors, which kind of play. And real estate is already, at large, unaffordable. So, it's already becoming very difficult with the rising costs, construction costs, to, kind of make it more and more affordable. For real estate, which is already illiquid, and then we are facing these kind of, challenges of different economic cycles, policy disruptions, and so on and so forth. I think it's very important to, what my fellow panelists said, clarity. Because, at real estate, we are, not just building, a structure, a civil structure. We are trying to influence the lives of its occupants. So we need to be very clear what we are building, why we are building, and we have to stand up for it, because in certain projects we will have a very good run and it may just click off, but in certain projects that may not happen. And what defines good developers, trustworthy developers, is who stand by their vision, even if there is initial resistance and not that kind of acceptance. But because they have that belief, I'll just give you an example. I did a senior living project in Calcutta, and it was launched towards the end of 2019, just before COVID. And at that point in time, it was, quite a new concept, especially in Bengal, which is, quite adverse to accepting new kind of, themes and concepts. So, but I realized that, because of lack of opportunities, a lot of, Gen Z were moving out of Calcutta, leaving their parents behind. And, those parents were, kind of lost and lonely. Even if they had access to money, even if they had a decent life, they were quite lonely. And there was a huge need of, creating a community wherein they feel safe and wherein, they enjoy life. Because, we all are going to get old at one point in time. And it is a fact that, once you get old, you don't get that kind of respect what you get in your prime years. So there has to be different kind of options wherein you can live your life with dignity and, being happy. So, it was a big risk. all of my consultants are of the opinion that it's not going to pan out. On top of it, you're doing it in a way wherein it's, highly luxurious, and old age homes traditionally, don't run in the luxury aspect. But I knew that it was very important to, kind of change that mindset. I knew that, it is not going to be an easy journey, but I believed in what my vision was and stood by it. And, it has turned out to be quite successful, and a lot of people who had moved out, of Bengal, 40, 50 years back, they have always wanted to come back, and now they are, coming back into my project. So, by this example, what I mean is, it's important to have the clarity and to stick by what you believe in. And obviously, as a safeguard, I will just say that in case if after, sticking by, it's not working out and market is not adapting, then obviously we are doing business. You have to adapt in whatever ways you can, keeping your vision more or less, intact. So it's about balancing, but clarity at the end of the day and sticking by what you believe in is very important.
So perfect. You summed up the basic and primary qualities of a business leader, that is taking calculated risks, having a bigger vision, and adapting to the changing trends. So thanks a lot. Before we move to audience Q&A, I have few rapid answer questions that I would like everyone to answer. So I would like to start with Neville. Which is one leadership quality India needs most today?
Aggression.
One habit that has personally helped you remain resilient as a leader?
Is it for me?
I will complete it like one by one.
I can only give politically correct answers when it's not right. So let's pass this.
Okay. If you could change one thing about India's business ecosystem, what would it be?
I think we need better quality, better educated, lower level politicians to make the changes on the street, on a city level, so that businesses can improve, quality of life for employees and employers both can improve.
The last question, you need to complete this sentence. The future of Bharat will belong to?
I can't predict anything, but I mean, you look at the war situations, you look at, there's no future guarantee of anything. We need to do our best. We need to put in our efforts, and then, we need to adapt to whatever happens tomorrow.
Great, great. So, we'll start with a question that Neville hasn't answered. That is, one habit that has personally helped you remain resilient as a leader?
I would say continuous learning.
One sector that will drive Bharat's next phase of growth?
Sustainable energy.
Great. And one leadership quality India needs most today?
I would say strategic thinking.
Great.
We lack it. We lack it completely.
And the last one, you need to complete this sentence again. The future of Bharat will belong to?
To the people who will reinvent themselves again and again.
Great. Thank you. Now coming to Vinita. One sector that will drive Bharat's next phase of growth?
Education. Undoubtedly.
One word that describes the future of Bharat?
Confidence.
Great. And if you could change one thing about India's business, or in case education ecosystem, what would it be?
Change.
Only one thing.
Only one thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess I would want people to, as I said, learn, unlearn, and relearn.
And the last one, you need to complete this sentence. Future of Bharat will belong to?
Generation Z.
Oh. One leadership quality that India needs today?
Transformational, and they need to adopt the technology and do the empowerment of new techs, deep tech kind of.
one habit that has personally helped you to remain resilient as a leader.
Like mentioned, continuous learning is the only key, and being cool under the pressure. That always helps.
If you could change one thing about India's business ecosystem, what would it be?
Fastest approval and with good support from the government for every startups and ecosystem, whatever.
Now, please complete this sentence again. The future of Bharat will belong to
those who believe in themselves and can adopt the technology very fast and make in the favor of making Bharat once again the greatest nation.
Great. So, moving on to Varun. One leadership quality India needs most today.
Confidence. I think inner confidence and self-confidence is something which a lot of people lack. Everybody over here have a lot to, bring onto the table, but it's just that, last step of confidence. And I think educational institutions are going to improve it in the next decade.
One habit that has personally helped you remain resilient as a leader.
Well, personally, I think listening more than talking, I think has helped me because, it's a part of, continuous learning. You need to listen more, you need to understand what's happening and be open to new ideas, because I cannot be always right.
One sector that will drive Bharat's next phase of growth.
Well, I will say hospitality because I believe that India is going to open up to tourism in a very big way. Not just religious tourism, but the potential of India that was, never explored, only limited, attractions were promoted and, there was not that good access to, different parts of India, which has changed drastically. So I think tourism sector is going to boom like anything.
And the last one, you need to complete this sentence, that is, future of Bharat will belong to
everyone who believe in themselves when nobody around them do.
That's a perfect way to end this panel. So before ending, we'll like to go for question and answers from the audience. If anyone has it, just please raise your hand so I'll pass the mic.
Thank you, leaders, for an amazing conversation. I have a question which always intrigues me, and I would like to know from you in terms of the vision of Bharat. Where does authenticity lie in the minds of the leaders? Today, we are all on the stage, all holding designations and trying to speak to the world in the way that feels right. Where is the space of actually being right and being authentic to what we get inside of us, even since the day we are born, in fact?
I would say authenticity remains very central to the core if you want to grow. You cannot fake till long time. You can fake in an interview, you can fake for an hour, but I would say in a longer run, you need to be very authentic in nature if you want to grow as an individual, to grow as an organization, or to grow as a country also.
I would just like to add, so most of the people, they pretend. So how you can lead is, now that's where you have to bet onto it. Let them pretend, and by that time you're actually building your own. So this is something which is very underrated. Not everybody knows, but these are the qualities of a leader. Like you have to grind and grill and everything. You have to pretend to the universe, but not to the people. So that's how it comes back to the authenticity and the most important thing to follow.
I think in India, we, kind of tend to, look for outside acceptance. And in that way, we succumb, under peer pressure. Even if we don't believe in something, we succumb to it because we want to be a part of that circle. We want to be a part of that group. So I think, a few people who are authentic are able to bridge this. To them, it does not really matter what the world thinks, what other people think. What matters is their own set of values, their own set of beliefs, and why they are doing what they're doing. So I think if everybody kind of acknowledges it, even if anyone is at that stage where they require outside acceptance, it's a phase. Everybody starts from there because we live in a society which is highly connected and judgmental. So, and we cannot change society. We can only work on ourselves. So it's a phase, and I think once we start acknowledging it and then addressing it, it goes away.
Thank you very much.
I just want to add, I think, just example of a star like sun and moon. Sun has own lights and is always authenticate in the whole day. But if you become moon, not authentic on that, so you can be keep on up there, shrink and up. So that's where how it works.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Satish. It's a fantastic panel discussion. People asked me in the interview outside, what do you think about Bharat 2.0? I said it's a collection of family people here. Everyone, brothers and sisters, we are here collectively talking about the prosperity of our nation. And this is how I see this conglomeration as. And the question the moderator asked, the future belongs to who? The answer, according to me, is to everyone. Whether they succeed, not succeed, we need to take them together in an inclusive manner. Some societies and communities are laid back, they are back downtrodden. We need to take everyone together in the same line, and there is no leader, there is no follower. Everybody is a leader in this nation. And the question to you, when we want to put together this type of thought process, where 140 crore people, everyone has that intent to succeed, the intent to be a leader and take this nation to the next level, what level of communication skills our leaders should have or should they possess, given the diversity of languages, diversity of backgrounds, diversity of thought process, diversity of culture, religion, caste, etc., etc. What would you think, and how would they accomplish this success communication such that our people can walk together with their heads up like a winner?
Well, language can never be a barrier because we are all humans and we understand emotions. As long as in whichever way, whichever language, I'm able to express my emotion, I'm able to express what I stand for, I think we can bridge all of these, gaps. And for a large part of time, I think in India, we have been struggling with these kind of thoughts, and there is a divide between North, South, and all of these things. But I believe that at the very end of the day, we have a very rooted culture in India. We all connect with that, and we all want India to return back to its glorious past. We have gone through a lot of suffering, and we have a point to prove to the whole world, The way we have been treated, the way different, rulers came and, changed the entire demography and different things. They literally, targeted our institutions, mostly educational institutions. So we have a very big point to prove. It's not just, any country. We have a, tradition that is more than 5,000 years old. So, and a lot of invention, big invention that has come from our brilliant minds. So we have a very large space to occupy globally, and for that, language, other aspects, skin color, nothing is a barrier, because we need to be able to express our emotions, and being humans, we can all connect with it. So it's just about connecting.
Dr. Satish, that language is empathy. Empathy towards discovering the potential of all. A true leader is not smartest. Like Sir rightly said, not all leaders can be MBA from Central University, but a true leader is someone who discovers the potential of all and then helps them to grow, and that's how you grow as a team.
Just want to add one thing, sir, from what I understood. Communication skill is the most important thing, which I particularly believe. But other than communication skill, what I believe is the coherence of communication, positioning, and repetitive reinforcement of the same is very necessary. And what I believe and what I have seen in corporates, when we talk about change management and all, we make a lot of plans with reference to stakeholder management, but we never pin down and say, number of times we need to communicate this to make this reinforceable in nature. So I think coherence in terms of what we say and mapping down at what is the correct amount of time we need to reinforce this to make this happen.
Just to add, technology has bring unity in diversity. So now in India, any part of the world, even the language is not a barrier. You can have easily one open app. You can transfer the front person, whichever language he want to understand. So technology has bring all these gaps very closely, and it has helped to get a right way in development on that.
Mr. Varun mentioned about an emotional connect. That was a question. How do you emotionally connect with 140 crore people to take them together? That's a question to you. What is the way, how do you create that emotional connect with common man in this nation so that he absorbs the vision of this nation and delivers it? Without a drive, without empowerment, it has to be an intent that has to come from each and every individual. It cannot be driven. What's your view on that?
So emotional connect, if you see, if you understand or know the person and you can interact. So one person cannot interact to all the person side. So there are many technology can help in that, getting a setup of meeting or small groups of meeting where you can connect emotionally to the peoples in the last set. And now different AI versions are there where you can create your own things and get connected to a community and get all the data, whatever they want to say. Because for a person to connect everyone is not possible. Technology can make it like your version, you can connect to everyone on that, and you can get the data, and from that, using ZenAI, you can just make some thoughtful outputs and get it work done in the return back.
Sir, just want to add one thing in this. I started with saying that we don't have GDP numbers for a tier 4 city. And if I say someone that you don't know, you are not doing good, then I need to quantify that. If I'm not able to quantify, I cannot grow that individual. So for me, what I believe, if we have the quantification metrics in place with proper transparency till tier 4 cities, everyone will be motivated, because what I believe, financial motivation sometimes helps, but it is the progress and continuous progress which keep individual motivated and keep doing on work every day. So I would say a mechanism, a very transparent mechanism to showcase progress that can drive this nation forward.
Yeah, I perfectly agree with your statement. Basically, when I came to the hotel, I came by taxi, I gave 100 rupees tips to the driver. He said, "No thanks, sir, I have the skills to survive." And that's the sort of intent I want to see in our people.
Wow. Fabulous.
Thank you.
Thank you, and what an amazing, significant discussion. Can we have a huge round of applause for all the leaders? We're crucial on time, could not take more questions, but thank you everyone, thank you. Can we have a group picture of you, all of you ahead, and thank you, each one of you, all the leaders out here. Wow, what a meaningful conversation on what truly takes to build Bharat of tomorrow, with bold leadership, some phenomenal, sustainable thinking and innovation that create a meaningful impact. Well, this is what the strategy has to be: resilient in every challenge, responsible in deep commitment towards building our nation responsibly and collectively. Can we have a huge round of applause for all of them, everybody? Thank you for our esteemed panelists, and also thanking the moderator, Mr. Dhruv, for actually navigating such fabulous questions. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. It was a privilege and glad to hear all the leaders speaking their insights and sharing their expertise. Well, thank you.